What is up, everybody, and welcome back to episode 5 of our Team Sky career mode, where today we will be riding the Volta Ciclista a Catalunya and the E3 Saxo Classic. Now, there were two riders that were supposed to be in this race, but Oscar Onley has fractured his hand and he will be out until mid-May, and Oyer Lazcano still suffering from that broken rib. Unfortunately, he will not be able to compete either. So we will be looking to bring in a couple new faces that weren't expected to ride this. And you can see the names here that we've brought in. Chris Froome, Tom Gloag, and Sam Watson all were not expected to race this, but stepping in because they needed to. And this first stage is going to be a doozy. It's a 163.8 kilometer flat stage, but it looks like the pure sprinters could get caught out if the pace is high enough. And if we take a look at the favorites, Fred Wright right up there, Sam Watson as well, so we do have a decent shot at taking stage 1. And with about 20k to go, we have accidentally created a group of 6 riders that are all ours to go off the front because of Chris Froome's incredible downhill stat. And I don't think we're going to be able to hold off 142 other riders for the last 20k, but never say never, I guess. And with about 6k left, Froome's job is almost done, and it's going to be Max Pool's time to take over, as the sprinters getting caught up by that late sprint point over here. Looks like their stamina is not going to be in a good spot, and we're going to try and use Max Pool to get Fred Wright to the front, but he is unfortunately falling back a little bit now as Max Pool looks to take him to the bottom of that little hill at the end, where he can hopefully win the uphill sprint finish if he can get back onto the wheel of Max Pool. We don't want to slow down, but we almost have to. If we look back where Fred Wright is, Fred's going to have to set his own effort and sprint. We just got caught out. Terrible stage 1. But stage 1 isn't where we're going to win this race. And I clearly have some work to do on these sprint finishes. I just have not figured them out in this game, apparently. But we will look to shake off that terrible stage 1 with this monstrous stage 2. A 164.4 kilometer mountain stage, and it is all uphill. This is a very dangerous stage, and one that's most likely going to decide who's going to win the Volta Ciclista a Catalunya. This is a day for the pure climbers, Tom Gloag, Max Pool, and that's really it. T-Berry can be a domestique, but 75 just isn't going to cut it when you're up against the likes of Jonas Vingegaard, Primoz Roglic, Enric Mas. I don't think we're going to look to try and keep pace with them. I think we're going to ride our own race up that last mountain and see if we can maybe pull in a top 5 or a top 10. And with 19k left, we've just reached the bottom of the Voltaire, the last climb of the day, and it has been absolutely brutal as Jumbo-Visma has just stomped all day, keeping up an incredible pace, them and Ageduar, as Vingegaard is looking to get set up for this final climb. And I don't even know who Ageduar are going to try and set up. I assume Ben O'Connor, but we're going to have to see if our boys can hold out and make something happen here towards the end. And with 7k left to go, attacks are starting to be made. Team and Aaronsman looking a little lively up there with Chavez, but Gloag riding at his own pace, not taking anything too hard just yet, as it looks like a winning move is trying to be made right now. Jonas Vingegaard suspiciously not in that front group, so Gloag pacing at 80 right now, actually looking like a pretty good idea. We might even slow it down a little bit. I don't think that move's going to stick, with Roglic deciding to go as soon as we catch that front group right over the top. Gloag going to try and stick with it. Wout pulls Vlasov. Everybody's stamina just a little bit lower than I would like it right now. And Roglic looks like he's going to make this attack stick, or maybe not, as we can actually move our energy usage down. Pop our energy gels on our 3 mountains, guys. T-Berry probably out of it, but there's an attack that looks like it's got some legs. Masnada, Bardet, Pozzovivo, but we've still got 2.5k until the finish, and we do not have the legs to stick with it. If we match that pace, we are definitely going to run out before the end. Max Poole already basically out of stamina. We just need Gloag to stick with this group of favorites, because a win is looking out of the question now. But with 1.4k, we can look to turn up the energy a little bit, see if we can get around, and see if we can hold on to this red energy bar until the line. Roglic way out in front, but we're going to have to slow it down. We can't afford to run out before the line. And it's going to be Enric Mas, followed by what looks like Primož Roglic. But the big story for us is Tom Gloag not losing a ton of time. Only about 15 seconds back, finishing just ahead of Jonas Vingegaard. And I think that's going to set us up pretty nicely for the rest of the race. And after stage 2, we do see Tom Gloag has moved into 6th place, only 23 seconds behind Enric Mas. And with a lot more mountains and medium mountain stages coming up, I'd say we have a decent shot at maybe getting a top 5 here. And that will lead us into stage 3, another brutal looking day. A 180.1 kilometer mountain stage that features the Col de la Creta, which is just an insane looking mountain. And if we can stay with the favorites up there, I think Gloag will be in a good position at the end of the day, because this is a much more manageable climb, and we'll end at La Molina. And we are just under 5k to the top of the Col de la Creta, and it has been a much easier day than I assumed it would be. Chris Froome on the front, really driving. We're going to see if we can catch this group in front, if he can't attack over the top and maybe put that downhill skill to work, and see if we can get him up and over that last climb in first place. And with 25k left, we made a little attack over the top. Chris Froome got away, and Fred Wright followed him, 43 seconds behind Froome right now. But that leaves everybody else 2 minutes behind. A perfectly timed attack from Chris Froome, and we'll have to see if we can get him a win in his last season as a professional cyclist back with Team Sky. And with 13k left, we've reached the base of that climb to La Molina. Froome and Wright still in front by about 50 seconds, but that doesn't look like it's going to stick. They just do not have enough stamina, so we're going to let them do their own thing and hope that they can stay away, but we will not be active in it. Our focus right now is on Tom Gloag, 6th in GC, getting towed up this mountain by Max Poole, with Sam Watson doing his best to try and protect him. And right now, Jumbo-Visma starting to push the pace, but not too much. It looks like Froome and Wright are keeping their gap, but we know that's just because they haven't hit the gas pedal yet, and as soon as they do, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. But Max Poole, Tom Gloag looking like they're in a very solid position right now. And with 8.5 kilometers left to go, Jan Hurt has made his move trying to bridge to Wright and Froome, but we're not going to be the ones to pull them back. We'll pull Hurt back, but we're letting Fred and Chris kind of do their own thing, as Max Poole, staying calm as ever, just has what seems to be all the stamina in the world. We're only going to increase this pace if there's an attack made over the top. And right now, I don't know if we just have great legs or the other teams are suffering or what, but if we didn't have Froome and Wright up front, we would definitely be pushing this advantage right now. But it looks like we have to be a little cautious. Froome and Wright still have to be the favorites with 40 seconds and 5.5 kilometers left to go, and it is not uphill to the line. There's a slight downhill and a sprint finish, but it looks like Froome is just about to drop, so we can go ahead and move Max Poole up and not feel too bad. Just wasn't destined to be for Fred Wright and Chris Froome, as Wright looks to push on, but Poole is going to attack now, see if Tom Gloag can follow him, which of course he can. And we're going to set his pace. Oh no, that's a mistake. We're going to set Max Poole's pace and have Tom Gloag follow him. There are only 6 riders right now. And with 0.9 left, we're going to have Tom Gloag go ahead and start a sprint up this last little hill. He is followed closely by Enric Mas and Primož Roglic. It looks like Roglic is just going to come around as Gloag runs out of stamina. And he just does. Tom Gloag, a second place finish, sandwiched between Primož Roglic and Enric Mas, but a huge stage for our GC ambitions, and Max Poole even coming across the line in 6th place. And after that stage, we see Tom Gloag move up to 3rd place in GC. A great spot to be in for him with a medium mountain stage coming up. And we have Chris Froome in 9th place in the best climber classification. Maybe that's something we can look at trying to get him in his last season. And we don't have anybody in the points. And Tom Gloag does take over the lead in the young rider classification, 11 seconds over Tiemann Ahrensman. And that's definitely going to be one that we're going to look to keep as our team classification moves up, as well as we are now in 7th place just behind EF. And we're looking at a little relief on stage 4, a 182 kilometer flat stage, allegedly. This is more of a hill stage, but a downhill into a sprint finish is always going to bring the group back together. But a day where we don't have to be on edge the whole time trying to guard a podium for Tom Gloag is going to be a good day for us. And with 15k left to go, everybody is still in the group. The breakaway has been caught, and we are trying to push the pace with Leo Hayter to set up Fred Wright, who's in perfect shape right now. But I think Leo Hayter's downhill stat isn't going to be quite good enough, so we're going to get Sam Watson prepped and ready. But with 11k left, it's looking like it's just going to be a bunch sprint. And we're here with just over 6k left. Leo Hayter has done his job, but now it's going to be Sam Watson's turn to take the front and bring Fred Wright to the front as we pop the energy gel on all of our riders. With 4k left, Sam Watson doing a good job of holding position, not letting anybody get too far ahead, and we're going to crank it up to 99 and get ready for Fred Wright's sprint here with about 1.5k to go. Watson out of stamina. We're going to watch Fred Wright try and pick his way through this group. And he has the speed, but he's just in a bad position as he comes across the line in 6th place. And we do get a little break from the Volta Ciclista Catalunya to bring you the E3 Saxo Classic. It's a 198.8 kilometer cobbly flat stage, and we don't have the best team for it this year, so I'm not expecting much, but Ethan Vernon could have a shot if they don't push the pace over the cobbles too hard. We also have Connor Swift, and of course Ben Healy can always make a difference, but with that flat sprint finish, I don't think he's going to be the one we're pushing for the win. This is mostly going to be one for Swift, Vernon, Aberasturi if he can make it over the cobbles. And with 95k to go, we have managed to get Ben Healy off the front into a group with Magnus Cort Nielsen, so hopefully later towards the race that'll pay dividends as we have a 2-minute and 20-second advantage over the peloton currently. And with 31k to go, we have reached what appears to be the final hill. Wout van Aert really pulling up here. We're just going to try and stick with him as there's one more cobbled section and a tiny little hill towards the end that maybe we can use to our advantage. But for right now, riding the coattails of Wout van Aert feels like a great idea. And with 21k to go, we have reached that final little hill, and we're going to see if we can attack Wout van Aert. Might have gone a little too early. And there we go. We're going to ramp up that effort as we do get a little gap over the top of the hill. We're going to look to recover and wait for them to respond. And with 10k left, an elite group of 5 riders is formed at the front. Casper Asgreen, Ben Healy, Wout van Aert, Alex Kirchen, Mathieu van der Poel. So we are in the right spot towards the pointy end of this race, but there is a chasing group of 5 riders behind, and we are not going to win a sprint finish. So we're going to go ahead and pop our energy gel, and we're going to wait to make a move. Asgreen goes, and we're going to set our effort and try and attack over the top as soon as we close that down. But we got to make sure we don't run out of energy, and hopefully our gel will pop right about now, as we are trying desperately to drop these guys, but it is just not happening. But it does look like we managed to drop Alex Kirch, I'd assume. And with 3k left, we're just going to have to sit up and see if we can beat one of these guys in a sprint to get a podium. With 2k left, that's looking very unlikely, as we'll try to come around to the front, but that's not going to happen. And with about 0.6k left, we're going to go ahead and start our sprint, and it's going to be Mathieu van der Poel, Wout van Aert, and Ben Healy will come across the line in third, which is a great result for a World Tour race for our little Conti Pro Team Sky. And we are right back to it with Stage 5 of the Volta Ciclista Catalunya, 176.2 kilometer medium mountain stage that Tom Gloag looks like he's going to thrive on. Still in third place. We really just need to defend his jersey, and if we see any weakness from Roglic, try and attack it. But this last climb, Laporte, looks pretty steep, so I don't know if that's going to be our wheelhouse, but we're going to give it a go regardless. And with 16.5 kilometers to go, we have made it to the bottom of that climb at Laporte. Antonio Tiberi going to lead the group out, as Tom Gloag looks to be in a pretty decent position, but Enric Mas all over him in that green and white jersey, as Leknesson looks to pull us to the official start of the climb. The breakaway group that includes Alexei Lutsenko still has 45 seconds over us. And with 6k to go, David Gaudu, Primož Roglic making a move. We're not going to go for that just yet, although we might be forced to. Everybody just trying to block off our riders. It's getting a little out of hand here. It's Chris Froome trying his best to pull it back, but Max Pool's going to have to take over, and I think 89's a little bit too quick for right now. There's still 4k left. We don't want Gloag to blow up at the bottom, but we also might just have Max Pool try to protect Tom Gloag, but that's looking like it's not going to happen as we get blocked off again. Soler also trying to move into our path. It's a bit ridiculous. Happens over and over again. You hear it every year. But Max Pool on this steep part, just trying to survive to lead Tom Gloag back up to this group. But I don't know if that's going to be possible. Gloag starting to run out of energy, as we can just set it to 65. I don't know where everybody has these legs all of a sudden. But Gloag just running out of stamina, and our GC ambition looking like it's going down the drain. We can pop the energy gel on all of our guys. And Gloag still just slowly trying to claw back some time to this front group. Aaronsman just in front of us. He is our main threat for the Young Riders jersey. So we're going to have to sit at 55 so we don't break. And just watching this front group ride away from us is like torture. We just did not have great legs today. Tom Gloag was not on a +2 or +3 day like he was in the previous stages, as we're gonna try to muster up a sprint, but you can see it just doesn't last. And it's going to be looking like a 17th, 18th place finish for Tom Gloag, which is going to really hurt our chances for any kind of jersey in this tour. And because of that poor showing for Tom Gloag, we have dropped all the way down to 11th place. So I think our objective here with him needs to shift to getting back into the top 10, maybe a top 5. We're only 6 seconds back from Jan Hert, and there should be enough stages that we can make up that time. And now with stage 6, now that Tom Gloag has fallen down the pecking order a little bit, will actually free us up to maybe go for this stage a little harder. It's a 169.4 kilometer hilly stage, and it looks perfect for someone like Fred Wright, and if Sam Watson can get over that last climb, those two would make a pretty formidable team. So we're gonna try and keep Tom Gloag around there in 11th place, and maybe if we can pick up some time, but the goal for this stage is to go for the stage win with Fred Wright. And we have made it to the base of that last climb, 6.5k to the top. Leo Hayter gunning it, and this is where we're going to have to make our move towards the top of this. We're just trying to get the legs a little warmed up and catch this front group so we can attack over the top. I think it's going to be a triple move with Gloag, Wright, and Watson all attacking as Germani comes over to block us once again. But we're just going to have to crank Leo up to try to avoid that. But they're making it really hard for us to pace up this climb as we move Leo Hayter up to 92, and that'll do the trick, but we do not want to waste the energy of our teammates. So Max Poole, about to be unleashed on 89, can actually move him up to 92 as well. And we're going to get Tom Gloag in a good position here to go ahead and attack. And we're going to set Froome to just kind of lag off there. Oh no, Gloag didn't attack yet, so that's good. But Max Poole going to sit back as Tom Gloag and Fred Wright go over the top. And they are, in fact, going to have a little gap of 22 seconds to the group behind. Fred Wright trying to follow Tom Gloag downhill, but we're going to have to recover stamina very quickly as Gloag is going to drop Fred Wright on this descent. And with 13k left, we do still have a bit of a gap. It's going to be 20 seconds back to the peloton, but it looks like they are closing in on us. But Tom Gloag looking to lead out Fred Wright. The little bit of a gap can only be a good thing as Enric Mas and David Gaudu looking to make their own moves as Gloag just going incredibly slowly for some reason. But with 9k left, we're going to have to make that jump to the front group, and I don't know if Tom Gloag's going to have the legs to do that. He's definitely not the best on the flats, but how much can they really have in their legs as Jonas decides to go around? And it looks like it's just going to have to be Fred Wright on his own as Tom Gloag has to sit up and take care of his GC ambitions and young rider ambitions. But with 5k, we're going to go ahead and pop Fred Wright's energy gel. I don't think we're going to catch this front group if it includes Gaudu and Vingegaard, but we are desperately closing it down, and with 2.7k left, we have finally caught it. Fred Wright in a decent position. Will the energy gel pop at the time we need it to? It does. And with 1.3k, we're going to go ahead and start our sprint as Strong comes around, and he is definitely living up to his name today. So that's going to be Corbin Strong, Brandon McNulty, and Alexei Lutsenko rounding out your top 3 as Fred Wright comes in and we bag another 6th place finish. And fortunately, that result doesn't see any big changes to the GC for us, but the startling thing is Primoz Roglic and Jonas Vingegaard 1-2, Jumbo-Visma just absolutely dominating this race. And that leads us to our final stage, Stage 7, Barcelona to Barcelona, 141 kilometer hilly stage with a loop at the end. It looks like we're going to do 6 laps, but this stage looks set up so well for Fred Wright. We're really going to have to go all out, I should say, to try and get him a stage win. But if I'm not mistaken, this stage profile looks like it might be one for the breakaway. And with 12k left and only 1 lap to go, Fred Wright is in the breakaway, 2 minutes ahead of the chasing peloton with a ton of stamina. And we're going to go ahead and use some of that right now. It looks like he could be in a great position to win the stage. The other riders in the break were pushing way too hard, way too early. And it looks like we're going to have the advantage when it comes to strength and stamina for the rest of the stage. As we approach these last 2 little climbs, we're going to go ahead and set our effort to 75. They're going to try to attack around. This is how it's been for most of the race. Just got to increase the effort a little bit on this first little hill. Vadim Pronsky, Simon Yates, Hermans. I'm actually not even sure who's actually in the group right now. But on this last hill, we are going to go ahead and attack and increase our efforts, see if they can follow us, which they can't, which is exactly the news we wanted to hear. And we're going to go ahead and recover a little bit of stamina on this downhill. We have a 21-second gap to the group behind us. We're going to go ahead and pop our energy gel. Only 4k left. We are in front by 30 seconds. We're going to go ahead and increase our effort up this last hill because I doubt the chase behind will be able to catch us. And this is actually going to be a pretty straightforward win at the end of the day. So we have 40 seconds behind, and at least we can say we took a stage at the Volta Ciclista of Catalunya with our man Fred Wright. We finally get on the board in the last race of the episode. And we are followed by Simon Yates, Rigoberto Urán, and Vadim Pronsky. And there we can see our little consolation win, Fred Wright, finishing 32 seconds ahead of the group. And we can see the final classification for the race. Primož Roglič takes first place ahead of Jonas Vingegaard and Fausto Masnada. We did not have anybody in the top 10. Tom Gloag did not have a good day, so that's not the end of the world as long as we got the stage win. And best climber, also Primož Roglič, Tom Gloag finishing 8th. In points, Primož Roglič again, Fred Wright, our top finisher, in 7th place. And in the young rider, Tom Gloag finishing 3rd, Fred Wright 5th, Max Poole 6th. The future is bright at Team Sky, even if we're not getting the results we need right this second. And for the team classification, we do finish in 5th, 11 minutes and 32 seconds behind Ineos Grenadiers. But it is always good to end on a high note, and that's going to be the case here for episode 5. Wanted to thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. I put out 1 episode of the Team Sky Career Mode every weekend, and I put out at least 1 episode of our Pro Cyclist Mode every week. And next episode for this series is going to be a big one. It's classic season, and we've got the Dwars door Vlaanderen, Ronde van Vlaanderen, Paris-Roubaix, the Amstel Gold Race, along with some other smaller races, including our objective, the Gran Premio Miguel Indurain. So that is going to be an episode where I think we are really going to thrive, and we can make some attacks and have fun and not have to worry about Tom Gloag's GC candidacy. But for now, I wanted to say thank you, and I will see you soon.